Hello y'all, this is Troy Total War, a mod for Rome Total War Barbarian Invasion. It is focused around the famous Trojan War of the time and takes a lot of unit design influences from the 2000s film Troy. With the new Total War game focused around the same era coming out soon, I thought it was a better time than ever to try it out. I will be playing as Troy. It is important to note I am playing with Alcar's add-on for the mod that fixes some bugs and adds some new units, so that's always a good addition. Here is the Trojan starting position. There are no Greeks to worry about yet. We got a few regions already, a few settlements to make us some nice income, and a starting army. The overview shows our victory conditions. It doesn't say, but we need 50 settlements, including Pythia, Mycenae, and Knossos, which is owned by Pythia, the Mycenaeans, and the Minoans. Troy begins with one ally, Lycia in Anatolia, and at war with Mycenae, which they are already at war with most of the Greek world, so they'll be very occupied instead of invading us. The Trojans, as do many factions in this mod, focus their roster around infantry. We also have access to cavalry and chariots. The roster is supplemented by some unique units that can be recruited at the nearby city of Dardanus. Early game expansion consists of running into rebels who are very adept at defending the core of a settlement, even when highly outnumbered, as can be seen here. An attack from javelinmen typically get them to move away from their defensive position and run straight into the attackers. Just a few turns in and a couple of sieges later, Troy is the largest faction. Troy has a unique building chain focused around constructing and improving the citadel of Troy, which gives some good buffs in tradable goods, law and happiness, and trade income. An agent is detected from our neighbor of Lydia to the east. This would be a perfect cause to have a war. The war is kicked off with the siege of Katayon, and this will be a good chance to expand our lands and reach our territorial ambitions in Anatolia. In one of the first battles, the Lydians pull together a small force of spearmen who will be violently blitzed by this army we have here. They just get charged and flooded very, very fast. They did have reinforcements for this fight, but it won't really make a difference as one will be defeated in detail, one after the other. The Lydians greet us on the battlefield again with a much more formidable force consisting of a general, spearmen, and axemen, as well as some skirmishers. This, what I believe to be a decisive battle, is taking place out on the countryside at a farm. The Lydian general's bodyguard, wielding bow and arrow, is pelted at the front lines by our own side's archers using fire arrows. The enemy's center is shattered, with Trojan soldiers surging forward to kill any of the routing forces who now have isolated their flanks. Thrace blockades a port of ours, bringing us into war against them. Hector, the firstborn son of the previous faction leader, is now granted the nickname Hector the Great. Thrace wants a ceasefire. Sure, we'll do it. Lydia is no more. We have destroyed them, and all their lands are now controlled by Troy. Thrace and Troy are once again in a conflict. I wonder why. Could it be due to Thrace blocking the same port again? An expeditionary force is sent across the sea to stop the Thracians from declaring stupid wars all the time. They are greeted by a bunch of men with war paint and spears. Construction begins on the second level of the Citadel of Troy. Once it is built, we will have an extra unit we can recruit, and it is the Temple Guards of Apollo who also guard the palace. Thanks to our new liberated Thracian lands, we can now begin trading with some of the Greeks, and we begin our first agreement with Argos. The war slows down with a bunch of rebels kicking us out of one of the settlements we had taken. The Amazons in northeastern Anatolia offer an alliance. They could provide a good way to open up a second front against the Hittites should they attack us. We will accept their offer. The Cyprus-based Lycia offers their alliance as well. We will take this also once again to stop the Hittites if they should attack. Thrace is no more. We take control of most of their land and their capital. The remaining territory we cannot capture is held by some feisty rebels. Elisha and Lycia are at war. Both of them are our allies. We will be abandoning Lycia to their fate and invade them also, perhaps, as we will use their land to help build the Trojan Empire in Anatolia. Trojan armies land in Greece, in the land of Pythia, the homeland of Achilles, who are already facing strife from the Athenians. We will be taking advantage of their problems. For our little war with Lycia, we acquire mercenaries in the form of Ionian archers and the Sea Peoples. The Lycians adopt a very defensive posture in their settlement, being outnumbered here with their numbers stretched thin to fight against the threat from Cyprus. Rhodes falls to Troy, securing the entire western Anatolian coast to the Trojans. We formally declare war on Phthia, with an army led by Paris of Troy and some reinforcements attacking the capital city of the faction. The capital garrison of Phthia storms out to face off against the weaker contingent of the Trojan armies. Both sides receive reinforcements, with the army of Paris of Troy swooping in to defeat the would-be Myrmidons. The battlefield near the city of Phthia is littered with the bodies from the two clashing forces. In the eastern part of the Trojan realm, the Hittites besiege a settlement and declare war. The brutal fighting is over with the city of Phthia taken. It is one of the key cities we need to win the campaign. Our new neighbor, the Thebans, declare war over a port and shall soon be getting their hands dirty to fight for Phthia. Thebes has sent almost 2 full-stack armies to take the city we have recently conquered. The Thebans are on the run, but not without taking heavy casualties ourselves. Paris of Troy and his army will need time to retrain. There is the clear victory. This should reduce Thebes' military capacity for some time, giving us the initiative to strike into their lands. Lycia, our former ally, who had broken our alliance when the Hittites declared war upon us. They had been their allies and have chosen to join their camp and now attack one of our weaker armies. We are betrayed in Greece, with one of our armies that have been sent as reinforcements being bribed and leave our service. Lycia is no more, with their conquered lands being little more than the front lines against Lycia and the Hittites. One of the eastern armies who ran into the Hittites spots a relatively rare sight: cavalry. They have cavalry. We reach the final stage of the citadel of Troy that hopefully should deter any large wooden horses. We begin our war with the Minoans by attacking one of their island settlements. Hector the Great has died, leaving his younger brother, Paris, at the age of 64, the faction leader for Troy. We cannot escape Lycia no longer, and they have caught us and will now push us into the sea if we should lose. That is unfortunately the outcome, with the cavalry archers proving far too formidable and causing our forces to rout on all sides. One thing can be said about the Minoans: they are quite intimidating with their use of axes. More fighting in Greece. Athens declares war upon Troy. We are at war with 6 factions, excluding the rebels, with a wide array of foes across the Aegean, our only allies in all this being the Amazons. Paris will camp outside Mycenae, with his army probably being one of the most impressive we have amassed in this entire campaign. Knossos falls after some brutal fighting with Minoans, and due to this we may have caused a riot in one of our nearby conquered cities. The moment has come to attack Mycenae. With or without Helen, Paris will be victorious. The Mycenaeans will not let their settlement go without a fight, but they will battle against a well-equipped army of Troy. The Mycenaean foe wields spears and swords, with their lighter troops wielding axes despite being lightly armored. The Trojan army charges forward to prevent their Mycenaean enemy from getting into position. A brutal melee ensues between the two parties. It is a heroic victory for Troy. Paris' army killed 1,000 of their enemies while taking less than 200 casualties. Paris dies in the next turn after winning a great victory for the Trojans that will result in the fall of the enemy city. Mycenae is taken with 53 regions and all the ones that are required: Phthia, Mycenae, and Knossos. The campaign is over. If there's any compensation for the Trojan domination, we may have stopped the Romans from existing. If you like the mod, check it out. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe.